Hi, it's Dawn. Welcome back. I am going to start from scratch with a number 2 pencil with a very badly worn out eraser, a ruler, and my 9x12 sketchbook. And I'm just going to do some flowers. They're not abstract. I will call them blob flowers. That's my term for them. All I'm doing is giving myself a little border. Don't particularly care about taping off this particular project because I don't need to. If any of you guys do like zentangle or anything like that, this might seem like a familiar exercise. We're going to fill the whole page. I'm kind of rambling here. I'm trying to talk and sketch at the same time. Oh, that's terrible. Obviously, I should have gone the other direction with that ruler. This is a fun little way to create art for your wall or a greeting card or just anything really. Something to put in your sketchbook, especially seasonally. Like if you're feeling spring colors and you're like, oh, I really want to paint daisies, and these flowers can just be just anything you want. And I'm just going to round these corners ever so slightly because my piece is going to be blobs, flower blobs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here in this corner, and I'm just going to put the center of a flower. And you do not have to make it straight or symmetrical or anything at all. I'm going to do 3. And then I'm going to do another center. These are going to be kind of daisy-esque. Give you daisy feels. And then we're going to do one down here. And these are going to be yellow. I'm just going to put Y's in there. No reason, then I just feel like it. And now I'm going to draw the petals. And the petals are going to fill the whole page, whether or not they make sense or they are going to be realistic. We're not going for realism here. We're just going for blob flowers. And then let's start. And the goal here is to keep the petals with an equidistant white. Oops, and I didn't do it there. I just kind of went off on my own right there. Is to keep the petals with the white area kind of about the same. Okay? And these are going to be some sort of blue. And now I'm going to come back over here and I'm just going to go obviously I'm not very good at this, but there. Okay, and then I'm going to do, and this is just a guideline, it's just a road map. See, and these are going to be a part of this flower. And then this one. Just going to go there. Oops. And we can fix these shapes as we go if we end up getting them. And I'm drawing these a little darker than I would have normally. Hopefully so you can see them. Let's see. Fix that. I don't need this ruler anymore and it keeps getting in my way. Alright, so let's go here and then don't want to go off the page. Yeah, just there. There. And then I don't know why my pencil just wants to go all kinds of rogue on me here. And as you can see, these are not terribly precise flowers. My goal here is to fill all the space. Right? And I might end up refining this a little bit, actually. I think I might end up doing it like that. Okay, let's come back up here. There's not a formula for this. It's just whatever feels right. And this petal feels too long and this one feels too short. So we're gonna refine this even as we go, even as we're working here. So I'm gonna shorten this guy and just kind of make it come back up around there. And then I think what I'm gonna do, shorten this guy just a little as well, because this guy's gonna feel very shortened and these flower petals are gonna feel feeling too long. Okay. And then I think we'll just come along like so. And I might even, it kind of makes me think of 70s flower power in a way. So what you see me doing here is getting the lines a tad closer to the other flower petals to try to give a little bit of symmetry to the white. They don't have to be exactly symmetrical, but you can see there how that's looking a little better. Okay, now we did this guy, and the other thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give each flower 5 petals. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one has 1, 2, 3. So I'm not going to do 4 and be done. I'm going to do 5. So what I may do here is a real super skinny guy. Goes down like that. See how long these are? This is kind of matching, right? And then this guy I can see. So that one has 5. That one has 5. So now I need to get 3 more out of this bad boy. No problem. Right? 1, 2. So I need to get 2 more. Kind of just intuitively let my pencil go where it wants to. Sometimes that gets me a nice shape, and sometimes not so much. And I have to come back and kind of... All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. All right, so that is the hard part, is the sketching. But I think, just have a little fun with it. Now I may go back and refine some of these curves, make them a little less jaggedy and make them a little more fluid or round, or maybe you like the jaggedy. But I think I'm going to probably paint this in a gouache rather than a watercolor, meaning I'll use my Kuretake paints because they're a lot more opaque. And so I'm going to go grab some of those colors and I'm going to knock back these lines just a little bit so it's not quite super bright as it is. Super dark with the pencil. And I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I picked out Malachite, which is, I believe, this is the small pan. I bought it in the big one just because I love it. I think it's number 50. It is. I also picked up this one, 503 Cobalt Green. I wonder if that's going to be dark enough, and I don't want a little bit more dark mixed in. And then for the yellow, I picked up 45, which is Cad Yellow. I've got them all activated, but I'm going to start with the yellow. I'm going to put them up here, just within shot-ish. And these are nice and buttery now. after they've sat for a few minutes. I did knock back the lines a little bit, but I didn't go crazy with it because honestly, I just kind of want, I just want to start painting. I don't want to, it's not going to matter. This is a good yellow. And the pencil lines show, I may end up doing black lines over them, or I may not. May end up doing gold lines. I don't know. So that yellow is making itself known. I like this, gouache would be a good substitute. These are, or acrylic. Acrylic would also make a really good medium to do this in, because it will give you a really flat finish when you're done, or flat effect when you're done, which is that 1950s National Park. I'm not even sure what that's called. That National Park poster look, which is kind of what I'm going, which is kind of the vision I had in my head when I started this. Which is those posters that are painted with, like, or printed with, what is it, 2 colors, 3 colors, whatever. And they are very retro, very mid-century modern, which is not normally my vibe, but I just love those National Park posters. So here we are. Okay, I'm going to need to twirl this around a little bit. It's just a little too awkward on that. Okay. Let's just go ahead and leave it here and do this bottom center, this floor. This is a great piece to do if you want to do it and then scan it and then print it, you know, like at your local Walgreens or CVS or whatever, and Staples, into a poster. And it makes it really inexpensive, because I think you can get an 18 by 24 at Staples for, and I'm not paid by Staples to say this, it's just what I do. I do this with some of my other, oops, I made that run. Oh well, that's the way it goes. I kind of want to straighten that out, that little edge right there. I go and I will do stuff, and then I'll go and have it printed up at Staples in an 18 by 24 poster size, and it's, or whatever size you want. And I think I paid $15. So once you make something this size, the 9 by 12, scan it with a good resolution with lots of pixels, you know, 5200 by 7200, or is it 54 by 7200? You'll see it on your scanner. And then print out a poster and go get a cheap poster frame, and it is a way, or even a fairly expensive one, but at one of the hobby stores that you can then get with a coupon, and then put it up over your sofa and do a couple pieces. And you can make seasonal stuff or just whatever. Trying to make this really punch, if you can't tell. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we like that a lot. Okay, now let's get the yellow dry. I'm going to give it a second so I'm not sticking my hand in it. And then we'll come back and do the turquoise. Alright, let's dip into the Malachite. Did that rhyme? I think it did. And see, I'm just kind of modifying my lines as I go here, because there's no harm in doing that, in my view. I'm gonna have to turn the book here and there though, because some of these angles are just not gonna be comfortable. I encourage you to do the same. Paint however it fits your wrist and your comfort level best. Gosh, this is a beautiful color. See how that's like kind of pointy? I don't know if you can see that, but I'm gonna round that off when I get to the painting part. This stuff is thick and it goes a long way. So if you start working with these Kuretake paints, just know that ahead of time. Because if you're working on a small piece, by the way, I'm using it in a Skoda 10. I forgot to tell you earlier. It's a round. If you're working with a big brush, you're going to pick up a lot more pigment than you're expecting to, is all I'm trying to say. And I may end up coming back and doing a second layer like on this yellow. It's not fully dry yet, but I might come back and do... Well, I just can't get happy with this angle, can I? I'm trying not to get my arm in the wet paint. Okay. There we go. Oh yeah, I love that. Love, 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 love that. This is going to cover up any pencil lines. This color, the yellow didn't, as you can see. I don't make this to go in the Louvre or anything. I make it because I like to experiment with ideas, and then I like to print out some of my ideas, and I like to decorate my house seasonally. And when I'm filming this right now, it's April, and I have big 18 by 24 frames in my house, and I print up my art pieces that I've scanned and I love, and I put them in those frames. I have some 16 by 20s and that fit the space, like the foyer and what have you. See, like right here, I'm going to actually go up a little bit and modify my own line to not even out the thing, but it is to even out that white space between the other petal. But I as I was saying before about Staples and Walgreens and CVS and stuff, I like to I print them out, I make them posters, and then I just keep them in the frame and I rotate them through. So, you know, in any given frame, I've got 4 or 5 different, you know, I've got Christmas and 4th of July and Halloween, etc. I mean, whatever holidays make you happy. And not everybody wants to decorate for holidays. I do my front door, the foyer, and then I have one big hutch, like big open farmhouse kind of hutch that's in my kitchen dining room area. I have an open concept house, and it's big. This girl's like, I don't know, 10 feet tall. It's a big old hutch, and so I have art on either side of it, 16 by 20 and thereabouts, on flanking it on either side with some smaller pieces, some 8 by 10s and 9 by 12s. But I use pieces like this scanned and printed out larger to celebrate the season. So you could do, you know, daisies and all kinds of, you could do stuff for shamrocks and, you know, the drill, Valentine's, the whole thing. It's fun. And it's fairly inexpensive too, because I mean, all I'm doing here is doing a couple swirls of paint on some paper and then a $10 print. I thrifted my frames because those can get pricey, but I got my frames at like estate sales and thrift stores and antique extravaganzas and stuff like that. I think the most expensive one I paid, most I've ever paid for a frame is I think 20 bucks. And that's the one on my foyer, and it's beautiful. It's made out of reclaimed baseboards out of a beautiful house from Ohio. When I bought it, the guy was showing me the house and how he goes in and buys up salvage and then repurposes the stuff that he buys. And this is it's just like crown molding, big old, like the frame is like that thick, you know, that wide. And it's made out of crown. I said baseboards, it's crown molding. I said it wrong. And it's an absolutely stunning frame. And I paid $20 for that thing. I love it. It's got bunnies in it right now. And soon I will work on my flags. Sometimes I reuse the ones from last year and just bring them to the front. And sometimes I paint new ones. I go, it didn't turn out like I wanted it to. Let me do it again. Ugh. That was unfortunate. Could have been ugly. It's where the signature is, and I just popped it. Anyway, mostly it's just fun for me to paint and make things. Here again, I'm kind of redrawing my lines because it just felt right. I paint a little intuitively at times. And if this happens to dry weird, like it just doesn't dry nice, I can either come back with the second layer, glaze over it with the same paint, second layer, or I can bring in a gold pen or a black pen or a white pen and add another layer. So when you're doing a painting of any kind, when you're doing anything of any kind, and you're just not liking it, add another layer. That's the trick in my world. That fixes a whole bunch of things. Here I'm going to go outside a little bit. Just kind of wander this way to fill in that white gap a touch. But don't go crazy. And if you need to take a break because you don't have anywhere to put your hand. Now I let the yellow dry at some point and came back as you saw. Because I knew that it was going to be hard to do some of this without the yellow drying. Oops, that wasn't good. That was not good at all. I thought about getting into this other green over here, but I don't think I'm going to. Cobalt green. Not on this piece. I think I'm just going to leave it all solid. Or sorry, all just two colors. That's what I'm trying to say. And this size 10 brush is helpful because it covers a lot of area. If you use a little bitty brush when you're doing this, oh, it'll take you 3 years. So get yourself, in fact, I probably could use a bigger brush, bigger size brush. But this is my favorite. And size 10 is a good size. Size 6, size 8, size 10. Those are, I find, some really universal sizes I tend to use the most. And this is an expensive brush. This is a synthetic squirrel. You don't have to have an expensive brush. This was just a gift to myself years ago on my birthday. And because I'm really good at giving myself really thoughtful gifts. I'm very exceptionally good at it, actually. But a basic brush will do too. A brush from the dollar store would work. It's just going to take you a little longer. You don't need fancy equipment to do this at all. Piece of paper, a pencil, and a ruler. You could even use Crayola paints. You might just have to put a couple layers on it. I'm getting to where I'm worried about where my hand is. But this, I want to be really crisp right here. Right down this line. Yeah. Too much for crisp. Okay. Painting myself into a corner. Floral blobs. I'm sure I could come up with something a bit more eloquent, but right now my wordsmithing is not at its height. Okay. And this is not a very time-consuming project, as you can see, because you're not going back and forth between colors. The only thing is you may have to stop here and there to let the paint dry, which I'm quickly reaching a point where I may have to do that. And you could use a hairdryer. You don't have to like sit around waiting for the paint to dry. You could use a hairdryer to speed it up. Just don't cook your paint. Put it on a low setting and see, like right now I want to put my arm right here. I think I can put it over this. Okay, yeah, it's dry enough here. All right. This is still an awkward angle. So we're gonna go real slow and try to get that line crisp. And if we don't, we don't. We're not gonna cry about it. Because there's always white paint and or gesso. It'll fix any bloop-de-doos, like this little yellow bloop-de-doo I got right there. I'm gonna have to fix that, but that's okay. That's an official term, a bloop-de-doo. Yep. All right, I think I can do this one. I normally have a little desk fan on, but when I'm filming, stop doing that. I turn it off because it's a little aggravating sounding on the video. Again, I'm gonna kind of fill this space and kind of redraw my lines. There. Nice. That's pretty good. All right, let's see. Now, how do we pull it this way without getting our hands in the paint? Very good question. Hey, not bad. It's starting to dry up though. I need to either get some more water in here or wet my brush. Okay. Let's wet my brush. Yeah, that's better. Because you put the water in, but then, you know, as time goes on, it evaporates. And I don't know how that happens. I don't know. Alright, let's see if we can do this petal. Hoping we can. Okay, that's going to be really tight right there, and I'm not doing a great job. Alright, let's do this. This is rather whimsical and folk arty, but I like it. It's not for everybody. Pick your own colors, pick your own blobs. Do you. Stop. I'm at towards the very beginning of the book, so that this side is so much higher than the... It lies flat until you put your weight on this side of the book, and then it pops it. Okay. Can we keep going? I don't know. Let's try. Mind the paint. Okay. All right. I'm loving this. It's very springy. Maybe a bit more summery, but whatever. It's flowers. Groundbreaking. All right. Keep going until it tells me I have to stop because I don't have anywhere to put my hand. I might be getting to that point. Ugh. Trying not to stop the camera if I can help it, because mostly I just want to, I'm in the flow. Let's go. Ooh. How to do this next part. Take a sip of water for inspiration. Alright, let's see if we can go here. That works. That's, the yellow is dry. Ugh. Sorry. Alright, let's see. This is very awkward, which means you don't always get good control when it's awkward. And now I'm going further up on the brush, which means you get even less control. But we're going to go slow and see if we can muddle through here. Okay. This brush is juicy enough that it's holding enough paint that we got it. Alright. Tricks in Painting 101. This isn't a painting exercise. This is how to do it when you don't want to get your hand in it. That's what this is. Okay. That's 2 to go. This one and 1 more. Can she do it? Yes, she can. Not good hand placement going this way at all. All right, and down to the tip of the brush here, trying to get those corners. Ugh. Let's see. All right. Not so bad. This paint is very chalky, as you can see, which gives it its opacity, and I think it's going to leave some chalky layers on top, which might lend itself to, you know, some pen detail coming in to, I don't know, break that up a little bit. Acrylic paint might be another way to do this too. And I may do it again with acrylic, and just, I may or may not film it necessarily, but I'm just saying I may try this again with acrylic and see if I like it as well or better, because I've got tons of cheap craft paint, and then I've got a bunch of, you know, really good goldens, and I don't know, we'll just have to see if how I like it, how it dries. But the idea here is the goal, not the end product, because the end product can be anything ultimately, meaning the medium you use, that end product can be anything. All right, now see if I can get that little back stretch, and then we are done, and I'll come back once it's dry so you can see it, and we can decide if there's an outlining we're going to do, or if there's going to be a white doodling on top. Doodling sometimes is fun, but sometimes it's very distracting from the piece, you know? I mean, and that's good if you don't like how the paint laid down. But I really would like to keep this kind of like it is, if possible, but I fudged up that line. Oh well. That's good enough. Okay, let's let this dry for a few minutes, and then I will come back and we'll look at it and decide anything next. Okay, everything's dry. I think I'm going to do another layer of yellow. Oh, thought I cleaned that brush enough. Clearly I had not. Okay, let's try it down at this end. Just, all right, plan B. Yeah, fix that, didn't it? Man, there's nothing worse than getting another color in your yellow. It's never quite the same if you don't get it out. Alright, and this has gotten a bit dry, like I was talking about earlier. This is the first color I used, and I've gone on and used my hair dryer, and let's see if we can... I got a splurge right there, a splooge. This is more water than pigment, but just want to kind of even out this yellow a little bit. And if you're using watercolor, obviously you're gonna go about this a little differently, and you're not gonna make mistakes like I just made, like, you know, being quick and fast and irritate myself. My own impatience. I'm an impatient artist. I really am. I want it to look good, but I also want to get it to the next level and see what's next, you know? I'm not always terribly patient about getting my lines super precise, and that's something I fight against. Slowing down. I have to remind myself on the regular to slow down. Okay, let's do a little bit more on this bottom one too. I just feel like it could benefit from a second layer. I don't think I'm going to do any more on the teal. I'm going to leave that alone. but I'm just seeing too many pencil marks and then too much. It may not be showing up much on the camera, but I just kind of want a second layer. Really want that yellow to punch and stand out. And I think I've decided against doing any line work on it. I think I'm going to leave it be. Now, I reserve the right to change my mind after I scan it and decide what I'm doing there, but for the moment I think we're going to just call this done, and I can always come back to it if I decide oh, that wasn't dry. Mercy sakes, right there, I just smudged. I thought it was dry. Alright, well, that's what gesso's for. I'll fix it. Anyway, I think we're going to call that done for today. And boy, I sure appreciate you stopping by again. And we'll see you again soon. Bye.